in our session today. So I guess you should start the session.
Cool, no issues. So, Animesh already gave a little background of mine. As he was telling, I was, although out, when I came in, I saw that he was saying pretty good things about me. So I don't know how good I am, but it's true that the I am one of the primary concept builders of the Rapid framework. So based on that, uh, other contributors started joining me when I floated the idea. You guys can see that Tech O Neil is also there. So Neil is one of the first members who joined me on this. We had few others who are not in the meeting today. Today's session, as it has already been communicated, is primarily based on the styling system that we are following in the Rapid framework. So, Neil, I would suggest let's carry on with the slides. So, we would basically be understanding the Rapid slash styles package. Guys who are already aware of the Rapid framework knows that it is based on uh, 4 or 5 packages primarily, and there are templates which uses these packages to basically develop the applications that we try to build. So out of the 4 or 5 primary packages, Rapid Styles happens to be one of the very important and primary package, a fundamental building block of the Rapid framework, because this basically adds up to the styling that is visible on the UI. So today's session, I would try to cover up what exactly are the philosophies behind designing this. I'll also try to cover up what are the file structures, what are the basic do's and don'ts when we use as well as we develop or try to enhance codes in this particular package. Neil, if you can take me to the next slide. So before we jump into the styles, we must have a little recap of the Rapid components. Basically, the hierarchy, the way the components are structured, the way they are kept in different projects, different packages, and different folders. So that if that idea is not clear, it would be difficult for us to understand where and how we would be able to inject our styling. Neil, we can go to the next slide. So this is one of the most important uh, section of the component design hierarchy. So as you can see that there are few round shapes. These are all the areas where we write our components. One being the native component, which is at the core of the whole ecosystem. So we have native components for our web platform and mobile platform. On top of which we have our core components, which are our wrapper of our native layer, so that on the app component layer or on the application layer, we basically use the core components, where the native layer, which is the web, which is either the web or the mobile, basically gets abstracted from the application developer. And the reddish or orangish color that we see, where we have written module 1 component and module 2 component, as we must already be knowing that a Rapid app can accommodate n number of modules which are included into the application. So those module components are basically written on the module layer. Now, just to understand how styling moves through these component layers or areas, I will move to the next slide. So that so on this slide, the first important thing that we'll have to understand is we will not read this slide from top to bottom. Instead, we will read it from bottom to top, wherein the foundation stone for the foundation layer for all components happens to be core components when you are a user of the Rapid framework. So the bottommost layer where it shows the core components, it is basically the components available in the Rapid core library. uh, all the components provided by the library are available in that particular block, which here I have denoted as a blue color box. On top of that, we generally build our app components, which here is denoted by that green color box, where you can simply see it's written that components built in the app layer. The next line clearly says that these are generally custom components built over and using the library provided components. So in most scenarios, we basically take up a core component and on top of that we add additional features or additional styling or something to create our own app components. Now once I move on to the orange layer, which is the module components, uh, the same philosophy follows actually. So on the app layer, we were creating our components based on the core components. On the module layer, we have the flexibility to create components based on, if you can see it's already written there, I would simply read it out. Custom components are built over and using library provided core components, the app components, or any other module components that you might be using in your application. Now, to understand this hierarchy in a better way, on the right hand side of the slide, I've given an example. So, again, we will read it from the bottom. At the bottom, you can see that there is an example called core image. Now, this core image happens to be a component which is provided by our core component library. And the same thing is written here. As an example, I have given an image on the extreme right, which is just an image, square in shape. There's no border in it. Now, when I move on to the app layer, let's hope we create a app image. Now, when we create this app image, we are building it on top of the library provided core image. Here, what we do is at the styling, we simply add a border. As you can see that the smiling baby photo now has a border on the image. Now, if I move further up and let's say we create a component called profile picture, which is built on top of the app image. Now the app image has an image which is directly coming from the core image component, has a border which has been added on the app image component layer, and now we are changing its shape to a oval shape because we want to use it as a profile picture. So this is basically the hierarchy. I think there would be other sessions where a much more detail of how to handle these components would be discussed. So if we have a basic idea of the hierarchy, we can move on to the actual styling area, which is today's topic. Neil, we can go to the next slide now. So the next section would be the philosophy, overall philosophy behind the rapid styles. Anil, we can move to the next slide. So here, as an example, I have taken the module level. As you can see, I've written on the slide as at the module level, what are the files involved. So every styling that we try to do is basically involving 7 files. So I've mentioned the name of the 7 files, which are, I would name them again, the module classes. And then we have 6 size specific and area specific styling files, which are default module styles, small module styles, medium module styles, large, extra large, and extra extra large module styles. Now, as you can see by the color there, I have colored the module word in green. There is a specific reason behind it, which I will explain in the upcoming slides. And the red color part, which is default small, medium, large, extra large, and extra extra large, basically suggests the screen size. As an example, I have given examples as well here. So the module classes basically contains all the constants of the class names. As we all know that when we write CSS, the predominantly used selector for CSS is a class, which generally uh, gets displayed with a HTML tag. As an example, if I simply write a HTML CSS page somewhere, I create a div. I simply write class equal to some class name, and that some class name is again written in a CSS file where we actually write the CSS properties and their values. A similar kind of a structure is followed here. Since this is a much more advanced language, we have used some constants so that we would be able to use constants. So all those constants are basically kept on the module classes file. Here, as an example, I have taken that's something called card header. So the blue colored card header, which is written in all capital letters, is the constant's name, and the value in it is a camel case card header. Now, as we move to the styling part of it, all these 6 files are basically screen side specific style files containing CSS in JS. So these are the files where we are actually putting our styling. Now, what we do here is in the default file, which happens to be the file for the extra small size of our screen, we are writing, let's say for card header, we are giving font size as 1 rem. So on a small device, on a extra small device to be correct, our font sizes on the card header would be 1 rem. Now, as we go move on to the medium file, let's say on the medium file, I write that the card header's font size is 2 rem. So once the application is running and this particular page is rendered, on that page, as and when we will change our size from extra small to medium, the font size will automatically increase from 1 rem to 2 rem. When I say automatically, it would seem it's happening automatically for the users of Wrappid, but inside the styles package, there is specific code written, which based on the size of rendering, it decides from which file to pick up the styles. Neil, we can move on to the next slide, I guess. So we'll have to understand the naming of our files. As I was telling that there is something written in red and green in the previous slide, I understood that it would be difficult for people to understand. So that is why this slide comes where we are trying to understand the naming of our files. As you can see, the red part of it is small, which has other values as default, medium, large, extra large, and extra extra large. These are basically Word doc supports 6 sizes. The names are written here. This is pretty standard with any UI styling library in the world available today, be it MUI, be it Bootstrap, be it Tailwind. Uh, Most of them follow this 6 set of screen sizes for which they have specific designs. Now, if I come to the green part of it, in a deal is written here. These are basically the area where my component is existing to which I am trying to add this style. As on the recap, I was saying that there are multiple areas where we can write components. As the same and similar examples are written here. So we have valid areas as module area, we have app area, we have core area, we have a styled component area, which is inside the package. If you are a developer of the package, then you would know this. If you are not a developer of the package, you may not know this. You can simply try to go into the code and explore and find it out. So the style components are basically used in the native layer. When I say native layer, it means the web part of it, the component where whether it is getting rendered as a web or a mobile. The style components are the stuff which is injecting styles to the native layer components. And at last, we have the utility, which we have built inspired from the Bootstrap. So if somebody who has knowledge about HTML, CSS, and knows Bootstrap library, it would be very easy for them to identify what would be our class names, because the class names are more or less exactly same as the class names available in Bootstrap. So the naming of the style files goes as size, the area, and then styles. And all the classes available in the style files goes into a classes file, which is nothing but a constant for those class names, comes in a file which is called as area classes. Both this type of file names are basically has extensions of .ts, since these are built with TypeScript. Neil, we can move on to the next slide, I guess. So these are basic do's and don'ts that we should be following while we are writing using the styling section of our Wrappid framework. So I'll go through the do's first and then the don'ts. As I'm saying here, that always do styling from a mobile first approach. So the Wrappid framework basically supports, and the on the second point, it's already written there that it supports an incremental manner of styling for screen sizes. So what happens is basically if you have uh, a component which has few styles which should be put on the smallest size available, which in our case is the default styles. So that basically enables the mobile first approach. This mobile first approach is a very generic term. If you guys know, it's okay. If you don't know, you can simply Google it. You will understand the styling of most of our web components, whether it's a React based component or an Angular based component or simply a HTML CSS. Uh, the fluid design mechanism generally follows the mobile first approach. On top of that, standardized mobile first approach followed globally across the IT industry. What we have added on our rapid framework is a incremental manner of styling for screen sizes. So what do I mean by the second point, which I say where I say that always build styles in an incremental manner? I was explaining, I would do that again. That if there is a component which has four styles to go, let's say the background color has to be blue for one particular div. Now, under any situation, when you have some section on your website or a page where the background is blue, it is very unlikely that you want to show blue on mobile and some other color on your web and some other color on an extra large screen like something like a television. So the color, which is a common property for your component, whichever size it is getting rendered, those kind of styles we suggest that you put it on our default file, which is the smallest screen size file. Now let's say the example that I was showing while explaining the file names, the font size on mobile has to be small, and when it goes to the television it has to be a little bigger, because the viewing distance of a user, when the same screen is visible, the user is seeing it on a mobile, it's quite close to his eyes, so the font size could be smaller. And when it is on an extra large screen which is far away from the viewer, the font size needs to become a little bigger. So this font size happens to be our CSS property, which is basically changing based on your screen size. So what we do is we write the basic screen size on the default file, and whenever we reach the large screen or the extra large screen on that file, we only write font size is big. We do not write the background color because that is a common feature for all our sizes. So you need not rewrite a single line to get your common styles carried forward to your higher or larger screen size, which in most of the cases, since we are based on Bootstrap, the utility package, in Bootstrap, there are most of the cases where you have to write it because they have not built it in an incremental way. They have built it in a very stringent way where the media queries uses min width and max width for one particular style. So these are basics of styling. If you guys are not able to understand the media queries, I would suggest that guys should go and just give a read, simple Google search and go to W3 schools or something like that and have a read. Now coming to the third point, that we should always remember to create constants for the unique class names that we choose. So as it is evident in standard CSS that you cannot have the same class name and try to do two properties, two sets of properties. So your class names in a CSS has to be unique. The same philosophy continues here in our Rapid framework also, where your class names should be unique. So that is something which has to be taken care of while you are using or writing or creating a new style. I would push off to the don'ts now. So while writing the styles, we should never try to push all our styling to the lower levels. What do exactly I mean by this is, suppose you have a component at your module level and you have to put some specific styling to that component which is available on the module level. It is preferable that you write the styles related to that at the module level. So such stylings should go in size module styles files and not be pushed into the app layer or the core layer or the utility layer, which are the lower layers of the area where your component is residing. Second thing is, do not put module level style to app level or vice versa. It's the more or less the same thing that I'm saying. The third point where comes is, you should never write media queries yourself because the framework takes care of that. You should always use the size specific style files instead of writing media queries yourself. If you think that there is a specific style which should go only for screen size min width greater than, let's say, small screen size, you preferably not preferably you must write that style in the file which is related to that. That means a file name which starts with small and then your area and style file. And do not use any media queries anywhere because the Rapid framework simply ignores any style written within media queries. So that's the basic do's and don'ts of using the styles package. Neil, we can move on to the next slide where I think the theme comes up now. So all this time we were talking about the styling of one component. Now uh, we also have a section on the rapid styles, which is the theming. Now, what do exactly we mean by theme? That my same style, if I change my theme, should start behaving differently. So I would have uh, examples on my subsequent slides. Neil, if we can move to the next slide, where we have given a very simple example that let's say we have a class called BG primary, which means that this class would given to a component will make the background color of that component to the primary color of my application. So there, what we suggest is whenever and wherever possible, you are writing a style, you should always use theme. The way we have done it here, you can see that we have written theme.palette.primary.main. So on the theme file is nothing but a JSON where multiple properties are kept. I'm taking the simplest example where the theme has a palette and the palette has a primary color. The primary color again has three variants, which is the main, the dark, and the light. Now, in this case, we are using the main color. So we are taking it from the theme instead of writing, let's say we are, as in this particular slide, the primary main color happens to be that sky blue where the heading is written. So instead of writing background color colon the hash code for that sky blue, what we are doing is we are using the theme.palette.primary.main and we are providing this particular hash for the blue color in the theme file, so that tomorrow if we change the theme, the color that is changed on the theme automatically gets reflected on all my styles, which in turn changes the background color of all my components all through the application wherever I have used BG primary. So a theme change would change background color of all components across the application. Let's say on the application we have built about 200 components. Out of the 200 components, 100 components has the BG primary class used. So on a normal scenario, what you'll have to do is you'll have to go to each of the components and write style equal to background color and then give the color if somebody decides to change the primary color of your application. But if you follow the theme mechanism, what you have to do is you can simply go to one file, which is the theme file, and on that theme file, you change the blue color to red. The whole application automatically becomes red. Only if you follow this, always use theme while creating styles philosophy. So I think we have written something here. Let me just go through it. I don't remember what I had written. As seen above, the color is being selected from the theme and not hard-coded directly. I already talked about that. We always use variables. Those are available in the themes. I already told that. So, this is another point which we should take care of, that the themes are inspired by the MUI with few rapid specific variables. That's the present state of our theme. So if you have a MUI built theme, that can be directly imported into Rapid and it starts working seamlessly. You need not write any additional code to understand that. Neil, I think we should move to the next slide, and I guess I'm taking more than my stipulated time. Let's move to the next slide. Okay, so this is a very basic of the theme. I would preferably take another session only on theme at a later date. So what next with Rapid styles? So we'll have to decide on the roadmap that we have to make for the rapid styles. So these are the few things which we would be working in very recent times, and we need to deliver this as quick as possible as written on the slide. So we have a styles viewer already present in our guide module. There are a few discrepancies there. There are a few bugs. There are a few features which are yet to be coded. So that has to be our first target. So finishing the styles viewer in the guide module is on the top priority of it. We would preferably provide a selection of style area on that same guide module, where a user, while trying to check the styles available in one particular area, should be able to select from a drop down that utility. If that person selects utility, the document would be showing all utility classes and their samples. If the person goes ahead and selects app, in that case, in whichever app that guide module is presently residing, it should be able to pick up all app classes and show the app classes, and likewise for the modules. The second point, which is creating a theme builder. So this is uh, we have another contributor who is not there in the call today, Shumantro. Shumantro has actually started working on it. Maybe once he's halfway into it, I'll ask him to take a session so that he can explain what we are up to. So on the theme builder, what we are trying to do is we create a tool so that we can customize the theme. So I've given a simple screenshot here, which is taken from the Joy UI of MUI theme builder. This is just for reference. Our theme builder may not look at all anything like this. Uh, that's all as far as the immediate roadmap is concerned. Anil, if you can take me to the next slide. Okay, so that would be all from my side as far as giving Gyan is concerned. Now I'm open for question and answers. If anybody has any questions, the next 5 minutes I would be answering them, and then we can go ahead. I think my session would be over after that. Anyone has any questions? Please come up. I see there is a message. I don't know if that is a question. No, my network is very unstable. Okay. Finally, is he there or he was not able to join?
I
Aryan,
guess he is not able to join.
no,
No,
no, he's there.
he
He's
is
there.
here. He is
He's,
there.
he's there. Okay. So I'm waiting for questions.
Guys, if you have any question, you can ask. It's a great opportunity to ask question from the main rapid concept builder. So don't be shy.
Yeah, there's nothing to be shy. Everybody is a contributor here. So maybe I was the first person to think, but I am pretty sure that every one of you are who are present here is thinking now. So whenever you become a
Uh,
contributor, you start thinking. So
Sam, I have a question, but not related to your session, as it's our fourth Rapid Wednesday. And in the fourth Rapid Wednesday, we are we as a speaker, you give a session. So can you please just tell a little bit about a rapid thing for all the students who are in our community, and also for the working people, how rapid is the game changer for all of them, just by one line that motivate us.
I I think I can do that. I can do that right after the Q&A session because my next slide says that, I guess.
Okay, okay.
So uh, I hopefully think that those slides are there. Anil, what is the next slide? Yeah, be a rapider. So I would tell why I want people to be a rapider. Okay. So if there are no questions, I can. I would.
Yes, yes. I guess you should go to the next slide, because I can't see any raise hands to ask questions.
Okay.
I guess they are just
I am only
thinking
raising
about.
hand once. Anyways, so understood that there are no questions. There could be two inferences or conclusions drawn from it, that people understood everything or people did not understand anything. So I would keep it to myself here. In After going through the framework at a later time also, if you guys have any questions, you can simply put it onto our email. uh, Animesh primarily is managing the whole thing. Animesh, if you find any email questions, you can forward it to me so that I would be able to answer them at a later time.
Of course, of course.
Now, coming to the point that Animesh raised, that as I'm requesting everybody to be a rapider here, why do you need to be a rapider? So I think the next slide would say why I want you to be a rapider, as well as why you should be a rapider. So Neil, if you can take me to the next slide. Okay. So simply understanding one simple thing is, you guys must be knowing about the open source community that is building and shaping today's technologies all across the world, across domains, and most of the big projects or game changing technology that you guys are seeing and experiencing today has been at one point built as an open source technology, or has at one point become an open source technology. The OpenAI being the one of the most prime stuff that we use every day today. So nobody thought that artificial intelligence could be so easily accessible to each and everyone, had not there been two people or three people who thought that let us make this open. So the open source concept of having something open source is that to democratize technology, so that we can make technology, uh, how big, small, great, or poor it is, it should be available to everybody. So me, as an individual, and the Rapider community, we all have the same thought process, and since we have that thought process, we made our framework open source. Now what happens when you actively participate in a open source community? So those are the few points that I have written here, that you get a chance to explore the newest trends in technology. Because when we are in an open source community and we are trying to building some uh, technology, we are not bound by some customer or a application delivery that needs to happen. So if you guys are in college, it would be a little difficult for you to understand. People who are in industry would understand that they generally work on projects which are given to them by some customer. So the customer needs an output as soon as possible. So there are dates given, there are deadlines which are stringent. And when you have stringent deadlines, you cannot actually explore new things, new trends, try out new things. Uh, so being on the open source side of it, there is a flexibility which is more important for students, where they do not have anything to deliver. So that's the time when people can actually uh, keep a track of the newest trends that is happening in the technologies. They themselves can work on it. They can suggest opinions about it, so that the whole community benefits from out of the idea. Now the third point, as you said, that we can be part of materializing an idea. So when you are a student, you have vague ideas, you have concrete ideas, you have great ideas, you have bullshit ideas at some time. Easiest way to validate your idea. The easiest way to validate your idea is to ask other people. Now, when you have a group of people who are in the industry, some being very old like me with bald head, and some being only one face I can see, like Orko Proto, who is an MTech student, just passed out. So we have a diverse experience range when we talk about our community. Me being somebody with a 20 years experience, Neil has started showing his face, who is about going to be 10 years experience very soon. We have Orko Proto, we have Pritham. These guys are 2 3 years experience. So for the college students, to validate your idea, you get a huge uh, number of people who can comment on your idea. Now it doesn't mean that our comments will always be true. Our comments as well might be wrong. So but you get an opinion from multiple people to again reanalyze your idea, reanalyze your thought, reanalyze your dream, and slowly make your idea a material reality. So it helps you in that way to be part with the community. Larger the community, the larger feedback we get. When I come up with the idea, I would also expect that you guys give me feedback. Likewise, when you guys come up with idea, if you float that idea onto such events like Rapid Wednesdays, it would be easier for us to comment, us to discuss, and mutually we would the both the parties would grow. Now I said both the parties, which I should not have said, because we are all on the same party. We are all contributors of this particular community. So if I just read through the next few points, you see that we have written here that there is a sense of accomplishment. As a student, there are multiple times when you try, start doing something, start creating a project. You have a dream which is, let's say, uh, of size 10. Finally, you are able to do only size 2. Your college sirs, professors, or your curriculum might be happy with that, but you, being a technologist, is not happy. So, when you work with community, the community people will also start helping you. So, it is always a give and take relationship. If you give me an idea, the next day I would give you an idea. It can also happen the other way around, that you float an idea whether this could be done. I say yes or no. So we all start communicating amongst ourselves. What actually we are trying to do by doing all these things? The fourth point, which says give back to the community, may not be that realistic for the college students as of now, but it's the time where when they start doing it. I think you guys must have searched source code in Google and then got it from some website, copied it, pasted it into your application, and then your application started running. That piece of code which you are copying and pasting today must have been written by somebody my age, at your age, and posted somewhere. So we I'm just saying this because I'm a little older to you guys, which you can already understand by my bald head. So we had been doing this for 20 years, and I have even senior people to me who had been doing it for even more 20 years before me. If we talk about the IT industry, you can see that it's more or less about 40-45 years that the IT industry is in existence in humanity. And the internet, after the internet came, whatever data got created is still there. So now it is the time where we have already benefited a lot from the community by copy pasting code. So when you become a part of the community and start contributing, you basically start giving back to the community. So that's what the whole idea about. What direct benefits the students has are the last 3 points. You can build your network, you can build your portfolio. Your network is basically going to be your net work when you join the industry. And the last 2 points, pretty simple. As they say, you learn, you improve your skills. The more skilled you are, the more flexible you become when you try to get a job, or you simply try to do or build something yourself. And the more you work or do or build something, you gain experience. So this is basically what I think covers up what Animesh wanted me to say. uh, I think we can go to the next slide, which is which is a thank you. So but I would preferably go back to the question and answer, because you can somebody might have a question and answer of on what I said about becoming a rapider. So if you have any questions regarding why join the community, why not join other community, any questions, I'm ready to take today. uh, Most of the days I'm not available in this call. I get busy with something else. uh, so if you want answers really from the horse's mouth, I am here.
It's actually we are fortunate that we get you and Neil at the same time in Rapid Wednesday. It's actually the first session where we you both are taking sessions in the first rapid session on 20th July, and it's already fifth session where you two guys are actually together. So yeah, from other in one session there are some students who actually wants to know how they will benefit, and after listening your points, they will be thinking about that they should join our rapid community, I guess.
So I think we got this recorded.
Yeah,
uh, if you want, you can just do a little editing. I was simply saying, I never thought that we would be publishing the recording. If you think by editing this is okay, it's okay. Otherwise, fix up a time with me, we can sit and do a video of this.
yeah, okay.
Simply record a video of the same thing. I would but if we really want to publish that video publicly, that has to be a little more scripted, because this was just a casual discussion that I was doing. So we'll have to work on that, and then we can simply have a video if it helps you guys to show it to people. I don't have a problem doing that.
Thank you for this. Okay, is anyone have any question? It's already 10:51.
Yeah, right.
And
I was just going to say that let's keep Neil's topic for the next week's event, I guess, because
True.
we won't
if
have much.
Nilda is comfortable with that, then Nilda, we can do that in our
Yeah,
next session.
we should move the topic to the next day because it's going to be a long session then,
Okay.
and we don't want that to happen.
Right, right. I'm sorry for it. I ate up a lot of time,
No,
but
it's okay. It's actually really needed in terms of styles and themes, which
mm,
is the primary focus why we build Rapid in the first place.
right.
Right.
So
And one thing, Samda, I just want to ask you about one thing. As we listen about how new contributor get benefit from the Rapid. Can you
mhm.
just explain something about what actually you want from Rapid? Like, what is the thing you imagine your mind that yeah, Rapid can be do that thing?
Okay, okay. So for an idea, I don't know how many of you would agree with me. So for any idea, there is a dream, then there is a philosophy, then there is uh, a realistic study where, or maybe we can say it a feasibility, and then there is a reality. There could be many other steps between. I can think of these four as of now. So if I talk about the reality is what we already have today. So what we have today is we have some CLI toolkits where with writing 2 3 comments you can simply start an application uh, where you can have pre-built modules which are already written by the Rapid community. So let's say you want to create an application where you need to have a login screen. Once you log in, you need to create a profile of that person who has logged in, and then uh, let's say few settings of that user. Just as an example, I'm taking these three. There are a few other business modules also that would I don't want to bring in more because that would make it complicated. So as a end user of Rapid, I simply need to write 2 3 comments. The first comment being that Rapid init, where my project is inited. On Rapid init, I can give my project name or something like that. Then the next step, what we do is Rapid include module, whatever modules are needed. As I said that, let's say we will have a login, which is basically authentication. Then we will have a profile for that user, and we will have some settings. So we have pre-built modules where you just write 3 sentences on your toolkit, where you write Rapid include module auth, which is for login and authentication. Then you write Rapid include module profile. Then you run another last comment, which is Rapid module include. I may be saying the syntax a little wrong. Exactly, I do not remember that. Rapid include module or Rapid module include something is like that,
Include
and we
module.
write settings. So as soon as we write these 3 comments, what happens is these modules from our repositories get copied into your project structure, and then the last comment happens to be Rapid setup and Rapid start. So if you want a very simple application which shows a person his profile by logging in, registering and logging in into the application, you need 5 comments. One happens to be Rapid init. You need Rapid include module auth, include module profile. If I remove the settings part, then it is 4 comments actually, because you don't need settings for showing profile. Let's say I have a project which is login into the system, create your profile. So there would be 4 comments, which is Rapid init, Rapid include auth, Rapid include profile. Sorry, 5 comments, Rapid setup, and then Rapid start. As soon as you start the Rapid, your web application would start. If you want to start for mobile, you can simply do Rapid start mobile. For the mobile, there would be 2 other comments and few other setup which needs to be done. So the reality is already achieved. We already have this where we can, by simply writing 4 or 5 commands, create an application. Now, if I go to the feasibility, we would preferably have some tools instead of command line commands to do the same thing. That's our feasibility, where we have already got this feasibility done, that it is possible to do this. And as you, during my session also, I told that immediate roadmap is to create a theme builder and theme creator tool. So the whole team is actually working on creating such tools, so that you can simply by clicking create a module, create a form, create a entity, so that you can fetch data from backend, create some APIs. So the feasibility state, we have all these things where we know that we should be having some front end UI using which we can write this code. Then I said that then there is I forgot what I said. I said then there is a philosophy which I said. So as far as the philosophy is concerned, which I'm not sure how many people in the team already knows, leaving the very few core members. The philosophy is to go from coding to low coding to finally no coding. So at the philosophy layer, our target is to go to low coding now. When I say low coding, once my tools are ready, I would be able to drag and drop and create forms. I would be able to click few buttons, write something, and create some tables on the back end. Still, we will have to write some source code for the basic calculations, basic logic. Let's say we are creating a software which would calculate, let's take a very simple example as which would calculate my electricity bill based on the number of units I have consumed, provided a slab is there. We all know that electricity bill is calculated based on slabs. So let's say I have consumed 300 units. The first 100 units would be charged at 5 rupees. The second 100 units would be charged at 7 rupees. And the last 100 or anything more than 200 units would be charged at some X amount. So this logic will have to be handwritten and coded. So at the philosophy level, our target is to make as much as of this code configurable and clickable, and only the expression needs to be written. So as a user of Wrappid, people need not have to write raw code. So that's at the philosophy level. So if I go to the dream level, what is my dream with Wrappid? My dream with Wrappid is there should be no code. When I say no code, uh, one option is from the feasibility layer, we make such good things that without writing simple code, we are able to create an application. The final step of the dream would be that I would have a prompt, since the AI is in the market. I would have a prompt where the user of Rapid would simply write that uh, create me an application which would be able to handle my customer relationship. I am into a business of selling t-shirts or something like that. So what happens is you give me a project requirement. When you give me a project requirement, my engine would be able to analyze that, simply do a NLP, and then go inside and further do some uh, artificial intelligence stuff. I'm not going into the detail of that for because that it's going to take a lot of time in that case. Uh, what output I would be expecting is it will create my forms automatically. It will create my backend logic automatically. It will create my database automatically. More or less 99% of your application should be generated based on prompts. That's my dream. uh, I think that should be all for telling what exactly Rapid is, will be in near future, will be in far future.
So, as we are the first Indian open source community who was working on a framework for developing low code, no code AI projects. So, it's a great thing when to feel when we are a member of a community. So, it's a great session. Samda tells about Rapid and also the Rapid styles thing. So, anyone wants to ask anything or share their feedback or anything they want to share with us? I guess no. Okay. So, okay. Nilda, do you have anything share with us after the session? As uh, it will be great if we get some.
Just give me a moment. So currently,
Okay.
what Sam is actually explaining us regarding styles and themes. Based on that, we actually have the style documentation based on which style is available in Rapid and what are the components that are available in Rapid. Our like core team and the core contributors who are contributing on daily basis, they're actually working on something like a component library and a style library. So right now you can see a component library page where there's a small introduction how the whole component library is working, and maybe we will must have a session regarding a component library as well. Likewise, we have today's sessions regarding style. So I can give you a brief introduction about the like with the code of start. So we have something called code of start, and this is the code blocks and what are the available way to use this code of start component. So we are starting to create this all the features that our component have. There are people like Pritam, Onunto, Orkuproto. There are contributors who are basically working on this particular area. I think we will be like completed this all the components that are available in our code package. Once we done with that, then our rapid is going to be one step ahead. So maybe in next rapid session I'll be covering on the particular stuff which is Sam is like already explained the configurable part of application where we can create a theme in Sam's sessions today, that we can create a theme builder where we can create and customize a theme which our application will use, so that we can actually create our own component as well. We can create our own form. So these are the all the possibilities that we have in our app builder module in today's today in the relatables term. Like, quite is like is what you call use that term, Sam? The reality, right? The reality part is basically we have it in the JSON format. And finally, we have a drag and drop tool where people can actually use that tool to create all of this whole JSON format, which finally going to be used in our application. So I think the core contributors is already contributing. I think most of the people are part of the core contribution team. Who are actually the core contribution team? I name it because they are the ones who are actually contributing. Rest of the people are not constantly contributing to the rapid contributing in the code level. So kudos to you guys. You guys actually doing a great job on daily basis, and we'll keep on moving to the our goal, and finally we're going to achieve it. So I think that's it from my side, and I think it's level of 5. I think we will need to end this session
Yeah, yeah. So, thank you,
because
Nilda.
another concern is happening all over the West Bengal today, and I think I will go.
Yeah,
I think you guys supposed to go there as well.
yeah.
So
I'll
like
also
so
go,
there.
and before that, have to have dinner.
Yeah, me too. Okay, bye,
Okay.
bye guys.
Okay.
Take care.
Thank you. Thank you for joining, everyone. And we'll meet again next Wednesday in the same time, 10 p.m. It's Rapid Wednesday, and we will discuss about new topics, new sessions, and there will be more shows and tell where our contributors will shows their uh, creative projects. Thank you for joining. Have a good night.
Let's do one simple thing. Let's turn on everyone's camera if you guys can, and let's do this. It could be a cool thing that we can do.
I guess we can do that, but actually, I'm joining to
You can
by my
put your
phone.
camera somewhere, Anonymous.
Let me settle this
Yeah,
down.
let's settle down. Ananto, are you there, buddy?
Yes, I am here, but
Yeah.
unfortunately, uh, I'm with a lot of people right now.
So you can
I can't actually.
move ahead and then
So you can fish some contributors.
yeah, you can pick some contributors as well.
Yeah, I guess I can do
Okay.
that right now.
So
Yeah.
I think see how guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
We have also Pritam Bag uh,
Pritham
and there's a
Mondol.
Pritam Mondol.
I think this is a cool W, na? We can have.
Yeah, it's lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or we can
Okay.
have this too.
Okay.
Like
Okay, I think other
we,
people are not in a not in a comfortable situation for
no, it's
video.
okay, it's okay. Fine.
We'll
Okay.
we'll have it the
Okay.
next day again.
Sure. Bye.
Fine then. Good night, guys.
Bye. See you
Good
guys
night,
later.
everyone.